March 1945. The Allies had battered their way across Western Europe, but the final, most daunting natural barrier remained: the Rhine River. For the German High Command, the Rhine was an impassable fortress, a wide, deep, and fast-flowing river backed by the formidable Siegfried Line. The Germans had systematically destroyed every bridge across the river, believing this barrier would give them months to regroup. The American strategy relied on speed and surprise. In a massive, unpredicted push, the U.S. 9th and 1st Armies reached the Rhine, only to find the key bridges destroyed. However, at the town of Remagen, a miracle occurred. The Ludendorff Bridge was captured intact by American engineers just moments before the retreating Germans could finish destroying it. This event became known as the Miracle of Remagen. While Remagen was a psychological victory, it was a tactical bottleneck. The Allies knew they needed a massive, coordinated crossing across a wider front to deliver the knockout blow. This led to Operation Plunder, the largest, most complex river crossing operation of the war. Operation Plunder was a testament to Allied technical genius. The mission required the movement of hundreds of thousands of troops, thousands of vehicles, and heavy artillery across a fiercely defended river in a single night. The primary objective was the construction of massive pontoon bridges, floating bridges, strong enough to carry heavy M4 Sherman tanks. American and British engineers were trained with obsessive secrecy, perfecting techniques for rapid construction under fire. The challenge was monumental: the current. The Rhine's strong current constantly threatened to rip the pontoons apart. German artillery, German batteries were zeroed in on every potential crossing point, ready to unleash devastating fire. The secret weapon. To support the crossing, the Allies deployed an unprecedented number of amphibious vehicles, DUKWs, and specialized landing craft, turning the infantry into a sudden, overwhelming amphibious assault force. The battle to cross the Rhine was, fundamentally, a race between Allied engineering and German artillery. To distract and destroy the German defenders before the crossing, the Allies launched Operation Varsity, a huge airborne assault. Thousands of American and British paratroopers dropped directly into the German rear, targeting artillery positions and key communication centers. The combined operation, Plunder, the river crossing, and Varsity, the airborne drop, was overwhelming. While the paratroopers drew the heaviest fire, the engineers worked feverishly, facing constant shelling and machine gun fire to complete the bridges. The moment the first American tanks rolled across the newly completed pontoon bridges marked the true beginning of the end. The German forces, disorganized, outflanked by the paratroopers, and shattered by the massive Allied artillery bombardment, could no longer maintain a coherent defense. The Rhine, the natural fortress they relied on, was no longer a barrier. It was a trap. The success of Operation Plunder was the strategic knockout blow of WW2 in the West. Once across the Rhine, the Allied armies faced minimal resistance, allowing the fast-moving armored divisions to sweep into the German industrial heartland, creating the massive Ruhr pocket and encircling hundreds of thousands of German troops. The final, uncut truth of the Rhine crossing is that it was won not just by courage, but by the relentless, often unseen work of the engineers. The sacrifice of the troops who built and held those bridges ensured that the final decisive battles of WW2 were fought on Germany's own soil, leading directly to the final surrender just weeks later. This has been War Stories Uncut. Subscribe now and hit the bell.